Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Video Gaming News. This is your host, Pimpshits, and today we're talking about Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is going to be a dark, gritty RPG that we haven't seen since Final Fantasy 7. There's still more to be revealed in Final Fantasy in coming months. We have no idea what to expect from the game itself besides what the game looks like, and we have very small glimpses of what the world is actually capable of and what the battle system's actually like. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt and just know that Final Fantasy 15 is going to be awesome. I really wanted you guys to look at the difference between the graphics, the quality of the graphics of Final Fantasy versus 13 and what's going on with the stuff that they revealed at PlayStation's event at E3. There's a lot of different things that are going on, and you just got to look at the textures, and Noctis looks a little different, and his ability to teleport is still about the same. He can fly through the air and take people out on grappling hooks, and he can basically just fuck people up in any way, shape, or form. And it's an ability related to a Final Fantasy character that is uncanny. I mean, I'm guessing this is kind of a form of a limit break or a general ability, some kind of a special item that he receives, some kind of a special thing that's been passed down from generation to generation. And it's these things that make Noctis what he is, and he's a badass. He's a teenage badass, basically. He's going to be one of the best Final Fantasy characters ever created. Everybody's been in an uproar about Final Fantasy Versus 13 being on hiatus for a really long time, and graphically speaking, this game should have come out a long time ago. But if you look at what's going on between these videos and go from Versus to the 15 reveal at the PlayStation event at E3, graphically speaking, the game is going to be leaps and bounds ahead of Versus 13. And there's lots of similar characters that are kind of coming back and whatnot, but things just aren't polished exactly the way it should be, and it's going to be a really badass game. A lot of people were upset that Final Fantasy Versus 13 never came out, and saying that Final Fantasy 15 is essentially the same game. A lot of people were kind of left at ease a little bit and saying, yay, I get my Final Fantasy Versus to come out, but it's a different name, and they're kind of jaded by that. There's still stuff going on behind the closed doors of Square Enix that people don't know about. Now, people may say that they want their Japan-released RPG, the old school style, the Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 type genre coming back, and as far as all of those are concerned, there are two games that I look at in turn-based combat, and Final Fantasy 7 and 10 are the two best turn-based RPGs of our modern generation. If you want to go as far back as to say stuff off of Super NES and stuff like that, Final Fantasy 3 is the best Final Fantasy game of that generation, period. The characters involved, the gameplay, the cutscenes, the storyline, that game was one of the best games that's ever been created, and I look very forward to seeing something along those lines coming up in the near future. I think that Final Fantasy 15 is going to be one of the greatest Final Fantasy games in the entire series. So here we see our first glimpse at Final Fantasy Versus 13. It's this giant cityscape and everything that's going on in the background. It's this swooping panning motion of this camera flying into this building where you take into the character Noctis, who starts to run, and then boom, this happens. People run out, everybody's freaking out, the military comes in, and these cutscenes, if you look in the bottom right, there's no cameras above their names, so you're actually looking at a cutscene right there that's based in the game, and it's all real time. Now in a second, I want you to pay attention to the bottom right, because there's different things that's happening with the battle system itself and the HUD, the HUD, if you will. See, now you've got the cameras going down there in the bottom right. You've got Noctis on the very bottom, and his camera is slightly bigger, signifying that he's the leader of what's going on in the battle. See, now they just switched the characters out. But basically what's going on here is your ability to interchange between characters at any given time. And like right now we're back to fighting a behemoth, and there's no cameras in play because you're not fighting it yet. It's just the animatic of it coming into play, so you can take it down, or you can fight it. And just the battle system in general for Versus 13 just looks incredible. First time I saw this, I was just like, holy fucking shit, this is going to be incredible. It's going to be one of the greatest Final Fantasy games that's ever been created. They're going to add some really crazy shit into the battle system itself. You can switch between characters in mid-battle. Great. That's exactly what I wanted. Final Fantasy X made the ability to where you can swap people out in the middle of battle. I hope that they could bring that into it as well, but I don't really see that happening. The battle system in general is going to be so much more in-depth and engaging every time you face a new creature. I'm basically looking at, you know, clips from Final Fantasy, you know, Versus 13 and 15 as being kind of like an MMO. You've got these features where you go into a certain area, and there's a guy or, you know, a dragon or whatever, and it's just kind of flying around, kind of like what you do in 13. You run around the map, you see something out there, you go to try to fucking kill it. So then what happens is you are immediately engaged in that battle. Your systems to the bottom right never really goes away. It stays the same. It's always there. It's just showing that your party is there and that at any given time you can join into a battle. So here we've got Noctis hanging out on this platform, and in comes a Dragon Knight, a Dragoon if you will. And she hammers down with a giant fucking spear, and she does an acrobatic, and she's ready to kick your ass. That's badass. One of the best parts about this Versus 13 trailer. I hope they keep that in the game. Final Fantasy 15 is going to be a dark, gritty RPG that we haven't seen since Final Fantasy 7. I think that Final Fantasy 15 is going to be the game that people look to in terms of next-gen quality, and it's really going to set the bar for what's to come in the next phases from Final Fantasy. If you look at Final Fantasy 7 set the bar for every game to come after that, and there hasn't been a game that's really met that criteria. So this game is going to be really amazing in terms of its capabilities in the world and what's to come on next gen. There's going to be more content on this game, rumored by Square Enix, that is going to rival Elder Scrolls Skyrim. And I've played a lot of Bethesda shit, and I've played every Final Fantasy game that's ever come out on the console since Final Fantasy 1, and this is going to be the game that people are going to look to the most. It's going to be very rough and very invoking. You're going to look at the story, you're going to get drawn into the characters. You haven't seen good character development like this since Final Fantasy X. You've got the dad here that sticks out his tongue, and his tongue's all green, and he's kind of teasing the kid to eat the nasty food, who probably, quote-unquote, is made by Quina from Final Fantasy IX. I'm willing to bet that the guy in the umbrella is going to be a playable character. I think he's going to be on your side. He's going to be a smooth-talking asshole, by the way. So here you get your first view at the cityscape. And look at it. It's gorgeous. You've got this great background, these very vivid, detailed landscapes and stuff. And Noctis is freaking out with water shooting in from Leviathan and all different kinds of shit going on. So he teleports here, he kicks a guy's ass, and then he turns to face and sees all these other characters coming in and fucking up a lot of military guys. Who's that guy? Nobody knows. He's the general of some evil army, and he looks like he has diarrhea. With the events that's happening and all this, the next scenes to be, he's teleporting onto the wall, he's running around, the building itself is falling over and crumbling around. This is all real time. These are events that are happening in real time, and he's got to make his way through it. These graphics are very, very impressive. The world itself is said to be staged in a giant open world game, and it's going to be huge. We haven't had an open world RPG of this magnitude from Square Enix since like Final Fantasy X. It's going to be the biggest Final Fantasy game ever created. Scheduled to come out at some point in 2014. My guess, probably holiday season. Yeah, August, September, October, something like that. Leading into the holidays, people are going to want to get this game. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah? 世界は常に変化する。15番目だ。
So here we have Noctis fighting a behemoth, and these are all different types of things that are going on. He's fighting like iron giants here in a minute, and behemoth just knocks the car away like it's nothing, and the military is coming back in. We've seen this before. This happened in Versus 13, except the graphics are 10 times better. It's through the roof. Noctis looks a little bit different. The swords that are flowing around him are a little bit different. It's just a little bit more cutting edge. I will note, look into the bottom right, your HUD's different now. You've got just 3 names and numbers and not what looks like a limit gauge type ability or an overdrive ability, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. That actually appears to be more of Noctis's teleportation ability and stuff as well, his special abilities. Now look in the bottom left. You have 5 different types of weapons to choose from for Noctis, and he will undoubtedly be your main character for most of the game. I love the idea that you can switch between characters and blast a guy in the face, and I love the idea that you can level up your character more easily by which battles you choose to take, and just the open world aspect of it in general is phenomenal. There's just a lot of really graphical changes from Final Fantasy Versus 13 and going into Final Fantasy 15 and looking at these videos with a fresh take is very inspiring. It makes me want to get into this game. Well, thanks for watching, guys. This is Pimpshits signing off. Please subscribe to Vigigaming News on YouTube, or you can go to facebook.com/gaming news. And lastly, just check out this scene here. You've got a behemoth coming down this long hallway, and Noctis is crouched up against the wall. But in the bottom right, you see the HUD that's still there. It means that essentially you could take out that character and you could try to fight it, I think. Or maybe that's just a general cutscene. I would like the ability to take a behemoth out in a hallway. That would be badass, but that's just me.